Welcome to this episode of Adam Answers, where I answer the questions from you in the community. And sometimes these questions come in comments to YouTube videos or Facebook messages or those kinds of things. But this time I was emailed this question, and this question comes from Saraí Espinosa. And Saraí is in Ecuador. And she sends me a question that I'll just read to you in its totality. She said, in therapeutic sessions, there are some subjects that keep repeating in the teenagers. I'm talking about self-esteem and irritability. Can you help me with these? How do I boost teenage self-esteem? Which are the techniques that may improve the relationship between you and yourself? And what about irritability? How can you teach teens about managing disruptive emotions? So there's a lot that's packed in there. And first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for sending this question. It's a really important question. And the first thing that I want to say is you are right. Oftentimes with teens or with other clients, actually, there are repeated things that we see across different clients. And absolutely, with teens, self-esteem is an issue, anger management or irritability is something that they oftentimes are referred to therapy in order to manage. And what I would say here is that we want to be really careful that we don't get into the place of problem solving. We don't want to go in there and think, okay, I need to teach you how to manage your anger, or I need to teach you some skills so that you can look at yourself in a more positive light. But instead, we want to intervene in a solution-focused way through our questions. And we want to really remember that we come at these situations from a stance of our clients have everything that they need in order to be successful in life. One of the things that I would say is, in order to enhance self-esteem, we might need to first treat our clients as though they are worth having self-esteem. That comes in the way that we talk to them, in the way that we engage with them, in the way that we're willing to be patient with them, and to calmly and quietly walk through our questions. But in addition to that kind of stance that we have, one of the things that I would say is just taking a step back and allowing them to teach us. Oftentimes, teenagers are into things like music, or they're into video games or something like that. And simply asking them to engage with us about a conversation that they're interested in will allow us to catch a vision of them where we say, wow, they are really bright, or they know a lot about this certain thing, or they've dedicated a lot of time to practicing, to getting better at this thing. And what they'll do as we have those kinds of conversations is that they'll teach us the language that we need to use in order to engage with them. And then when we engage with them, we say, if you started to use that acumen, or if you started to use those skills in just the right way, and it started to bleed out into other areas of your life, besides just music or video games or talking with your friends or interacting in that way, if your parents caught hold of the fact that you were this bright, or you knew this much, or you used that skill of persistence, or you used your memory ability to capture all of this information, what would they begin to notice about you? And one of the things about having that kind of a conversation is that it allows us to see the very best of our clients. And now there's every reason to believe in them that they're capable of having self-esteem. And in fact, in some areas, they do really feel good about the way that they manage things, or the things that they know, or how they engage with certain people. And so oftentimes when we say they lack self-esteem, what we're really saying is they don't have confidence in a particular area. And we make that lack of confidence in a certain area the totality of who they are. And so I would say we don't need to necessarily teach them how to be confident in that area, but we need to talk to the confident version of them, and then they will understand, they will teach themselves that that confidence could bleed over into something else. Similarly, about irritability or anger management or things like that, we don't need to teach them how to manage their anger, because there's probably situations in their life where they get along just fine with a friend. where they sit quietly in a classroom or something like that. And so there are areas where they know how to do those things. And we need to get to know them. We need to understand how they do those things well in a certain area. And then as they begin to talk about that certain area, it's easy then to generalize that to other areas. But I think one of the things that's really important about working with adolescents is that we need to understand that we simultaneously may have two desired outcomes. We have the desired outcome of the teenager, and very likely we have a desired outcome of the parents or the school or something like that. Oftentimes these emotions that are getting highlighted as they need to fix this, really that's the desired outcome of the parent. And so in our conversation, we might need to weave the two desired outcomes together. If they just say, I want to be happy, or I want to be able to relax, or I want to whatever, we need to weave that desired outcome with the desired outcome of their parents to say, and if you were able to relax, or if you were able to be happy, or you were able to have a fun time, and your parents also knew that that was a good thing for you, what would they begin to notice, and how would you be different with them, and how would you interact with one another? And so again, these things around self-esteem, or these things around anger management, or those kinds of things, that might not be their desired outcome or the desired outcome of the teen. It might be someone else's desired outcome. And so weaving those together after we've really captured how to talk to a teen is vitally important. I think we want to be really careful about not psychoeducating. I think we want to be really careful about not treating them as though they are a problem, or that one specific thing, it becomes the totality of who they are. But instead, we get to know them, we get to know their desired outcome, and then we, in every question that we ask, we give them an opportunity to compliment themselves, or to show us their strength, or to show us the resources that they have, or to show us when they've been successful. And they will teach us, and we'll become amazed by them. And as we becoming amazed by them, they will catch on to that. And a lot of the things that their self-consciousness or their irritability will kind of fade away simply because we're engaging with them in a really meaningful way. So I hope that was helpful. Please keep your questions coming. We would love to hear more of them. And again, I'll address them in this format. If you have questions about what I've said here, also feel free to put it in the comments. We love to be able to interact with you and to talk about all things solution focused. So until next time, have a wonderful day and good luck as you work with those teenagers.